Hi, I'm Larry Berman, and here's what's on my radar this week. Focus really turns to Washington now. We saw everything from President Trump saying there wouldn't be an orderly change of government were he to lose. Of course, he doesn't believe he's going to lose. What actually happens, of course, is a different matter. But and then Mitch McConnell walked it back, saying, of course, there's going to be a smooth transition. So, Supreme Court nomination is going to be huge. We expect Amy Coney Barrett will be announced over this weekend, and that will put the focus on some of the key state votes, because you have senators like Cotton and Hawley, for example, that will want the Supreme Court like virtually right away to rule on Roe v. Wade again. And this is actually going to energize the left and probably help Democrats on election day. Some obviously feel very different and feel it's going to motivate Trump's base, but I have to believe at this point Trump has motivated his base plenty with just the Supreme Court nomination. So this Supreme Court issue is going to be front and center for a couple of weeks now. It's going to limit the ability of Congress to get a stimulus bill done unless the Republicans are willing to come up to that $2.4 trillion level, which is probably unlikely. So in absence of a stimulus bill, there's going to be or should be more anxiety in Washington and therefore more market volatility as we head into the election. We heard from the Fed and a gaggle of central bankers this week that we need more stimulus. So, it's all tied in together. We need the stimulus. We heard it from Powell. We heard it from many, many more governors. We're hearing rumors from the Biden camp that Fed Governor Lael Brainard is likely to be nominated as Treasury Secretary. She is a strong advocate of yield curve control. That means a lot for gold. That means a lot for markets in general and support. But the Fed has been pretty clear and had the opportunity to walk back that word lower that Powell used in last week's testimony and didn't this week. So we're not going to see more from the Fed until we see more on the fiscal side, and then ultimately the Fed will have to monetize that extra largesse. So again, none of that's probably going to happen before the election. In terms of market valuation, obviously we've had a big correction off the highs. When we look at the key sector leading the correction, big tech, the Qs as of late Friday were still some 16% off the 200-day average. I think between now and the US election, we're most likely going to see a test of that very key support level, which also happens to be in the same neighborhood as the pre-COVID high that we broke out from a few months back. So a lot of us lining up. When you look at the Fangman names and you look at valuation and how far these names are above those key averages, that ranges from close to zero for a Google that tested the 200-day average this week to as much as 45% for an NVIDIA and 90% for a Tesla, well above those average. Lots of room for those Fangman names to correct still. That target for the QQQ is still very much in play before the US election. Our bull and bear pick of the week. Again, we're looking at another pairs trade here. Two ETFs playing the NASDAQ. So we're going to be bearish on the QQQ, and we put that out a few weeks ago, reiterating that call for big cap tech to correct more here. But on the bull side, we want to own the QQQ equal weight ETF, QQEW, and that way we're long the NASDAQ stocks that aren't quite as inflated as the Fangman names that are likely to hit more disproportional as the overall market goes through some anxiety before the US election. Thanks a lot. Remember to subscribe and add to the alerts so you know when we have new content out. And this week, We are going to be going back to our weekly roadshow for the Berman's Call series for the next 10 weeks, starting October 1st, Thursday night at 7 p.m. You can sign up at etfcm.com. Looking forward to seeing everybody out there with a lot of great new content and a whole host of time to ask your questions on ETFs, stocks, and the economy. Have a great week, everyone.